Welcome to Detective Night, the chance to help solve serious crime. And viewers have so far led to well over 500 arrests on important cases, a third of them for murder. Among tonight's appeals, indeed, more on the Russell murders in Kent. In Birmingham, a gang that tried 4 armed robberies in a row. In Leeds, the hunt for a man who attacked 2 children. And in London, an old man stabbed as he did his washing at his local laundrette.
First to the beautifully named Primrose Valley in Whitkirk, Leeds. 3 months ago, this man raped a 16-year-old girl while her little brother lay sobbing next to her. There's already been extensive publicity, but now Yorkshire Police have asked Crimewatch to join the hunt. Now, there were several important witnesses. It happened around lunchtime on Wednesday, July the 9th.
Come on, Tom. Hurry up.
My daughter asked if she could take my son to go collecting frogs for this little pond, which were no more than a few bricks in a black bag. He didn't even realise that once these little tadpoles grow into little frogs, they'd hop off anyway. He just wanted these frogs in this little pond.
There'll be loads.
We haven't even been down in the deep bit yet.
When I was a kid, everybody I know always played on the valley. It's beautiful. It's a lovely place. It's not unusual to see kids playing down there on their own.
There's loads of tadpoles in here.
Show me then.
Look, over there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's loads.
Where's it gone now?
Have you found anything yet?
No, not yet. I can't see anything in this dirty water.
My daughter and my son,
I know.
they were like any other kids,
There's one.
fighting over silly things. But if anybody ever did anything to him, to upset him, she'd be the first one out to look after him.
Rosie! Come on, Rosie! I always take my dog down the area called Primrose Valley, but I tend not to let Tessa off the lead. You have to wait a bit, old girl. Rosie naturally inquisitive, and she went and sniffed him. The man didn't react at all, which surprised me. People always react to a dog to see what it's going to do to them. He was about 5'8", a little shorter than me, and average build. He had a short, mousy coloured hair, and he was aged between 35 and 40. I've not seen him in the area before.
Is that one?
Nah, just a leaf.
He's been passed before.
Oh, yeah, he has, hasn't he?
There! Oh, quick! There!
Oh, I've got it! Is it a big one?
Yeah, look!
Oh, wow!
I came down into the valley looking for a burnt-out car that had been reported by West Yorkshire Police. I saw 2 children in the reeds fishing or whatever. I couldn't see the car, so as I was starting to reverse back, I looked up and I saw someone sat on a post. He was just sat looking down on the ponds. I thought it was a bit strange, but there's a lot of people use the valley.
We're off home now, Tom. Come on.
Oh, just a few more tadpoles, please.
You'd think that your 2 kids on a summer's day could go collecting frog spawn
Come on, Tom. Come on.
without something as horrendous happening to them.
Have you caught out yet?
Just a few frogs and toads.
Well, we've caught 1 frog and 1 toad.
Don't shout her out. Just do as you're told.
Do you want me to pull them back?
No, just walk.
My son thought that this man had this knife at my daughter's throat because he'd taken frogs. He thought it was his fault. He told my little boy to walk in front. And if he didn't do as he was told, he would slit my daughter's throat. My daughter kept saying, "You're not going to hurt us, you're not going to hurt us, don't hurt my little brother." He was sobbing into his hands with his head down. she were actually saying to him, "Don't cry, be quiet, and we'll both be all right." My daughter held on to my little boy's ankles to comfort him while she were getting raped. No little girl of 16 should have to go through what she went through. Nobody. Nobody's kids should have to go through that. They've destroyed her, and quite frankly, they've destroyed me as well, because I'm numb. I ain't got no feelings whatsoever towards this horrible person, because I can't bring myself to call him a man. He needs catching.
Philip Revel-Johnson is leading the inquiry. The rape was a bad assault, a frightful assault, but as if that wasn't enough, the legacy of that attack was that the poor girl contracted a sexually transmitted disease, didn't she? How is she and her brother now?
Yes, well, as you've seen, it's been a very harrowing experience for them. The disease chlamydia that she contracted, fortunately, was identified quickly, and that's been treated and is now cleared up. However, the mental trauma that they've gone through will take a long, long time
We'll stay with them for a long, long time.
Recover
right.
from that.
This disease may be a significant point in your appeal.
Yes, we feel that the offender might have contacted this from either a partner or an ex-partner, and whilst we appreciate it's a very sensitive area, we would appeal to that person, if they recognise who this is, to contact the police in confidence or otherwise, because we do urge people to ring in.
And you have simple ways of eliminating the person if he isn't the one?
Yes, the process is quite easy. It doesn't even involve taking a blood sample. We don't even require people to give statements.
Now, we have an e-fit of the man. Describe to us what he was like.
Yes, he was a white male. He was in his late 30s to early 40s, about 5'9" tall and medium build. The girl describes that he had muscly arms. She saw his bare chest. She doesn't remember any chest hairs or tattoos.
Did he have an accent? Was he a local man, do you think?
It was very difficult. They described him as speaking with a posh accent, but they thought that might have been put on. But we believe he's a local man. He was seen in the area on 3 consecutive days by witnesses in the afternoons.
Now, what about the weapon that he used?
The girl describes a blue Stanley knife, very similar to this one here. This is not, in fact, a Stanley knife, but it's made by several different manufacturers. But he was menacing with this, holding the blade to her neck, and which added to the harrowing experience that she had to go through.
Absolutely. Now, he was at the site, and he had been there previously, as you said, a couple of days previously. You don't know how he got there, do you?
No, there are no sightings of him either entering or leaving the area. The general direction he left was towards Selby Road, but we have no sightings of whether or not he had a vehicle or used public transport, or whether in fact he was on foot.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Philip Revel-Johnson. Can you piece those elements together? If you were around that day, remember, Wednesday, the 9th of July in Primrose Valley, or if you've any suspicions about anyone, please do call us now. It's a free call here to the studio on 0500 600 600. That's 0500 600 600 for any of our cases tonight. Or you can call Philip Revel-Johnson's colleagues at the Rape Inquiry Team in Leeds. That's a free phone number, 0800 318 001. 0800 318 001.
I can tell you a bit about progress from last month. 7 arrests, including one for kidnapping, actual bodily harm and a separate aggravated burglary. Frustratingly, no arrests so far on any of our reconstructions, although all of them still could come up trumps. Most disappointing, though, no firm news yet on the murder of Katerina Koneva, the 12-year-old schoolgirl killed, it seems, for killing's sake in Hammersmith, West London. The response was huge to the programme. 300 viewers called in at the time, more still ringing in now. But 2/3 of the early suspects have now been ruled out. Of course, the remaining third are still being investigated. The armed raid on a DIY superstore in Leicester produced over 200 calls and 120 suspects were put forward. Police have now narrowed those down and are particularly interested in 6 of them. And the inquiry has focused on 10 suspects for the rape of a woman early one July morning in London's Shepherd's Bush. About 180 calls on that one, and they too are still coming in. Detectives are now awaiting the results of forensic tests.
Incidentally, several other rape victims found the courage to call in and report crimes that had gone unreported until then. And one similar attack on a woman by a stranger has resulted in an arrest after the Crimewatch reconstruction in July. More than 250 viewers called, naming a total of 120 suspects. And following fingerprint tests, a man has now been charged. And you may remember this.
Dear, where'd you keep the cash?
It's upstairs.
Show me. Come on.
As a direct result of calls, a man was arrested, pleaded guilty to a large number of offences and has been sentenced to 9 years. And now, with a video of a very nasty assault, here's newly promoted Chief Superintendent David Hatcher.
Obviously, we're not going to show the attack itself, but it was very, very violent and seemingly unprovoked. It happened in Birkenhead town centre at about 1 a.m. 5 weeks ago, on Tuesday, September the 2nd. The youth with the stripy top stopped a middle-aged man in the street and started harassing him. We'll freeze the picture here because what follows is so vicious. It left the victim with serious injuries to the head and face. Who's the man in the distinctive striped and baggy shirt? He's 5'7", medium build with blonde cropped hair. It's a good picture of him, so 0500 600 600 and do please call in and tell us who he is. Or Merseyside Police on 0151 777 2265. That's 0151 777 2266. Now to an incident in which the victim died. 6 weeks ago, Darryl Aby was stabbed in the chest outside a pub in Luton, Bedfordshire. He'd just joined a football team at the Four Horseshoes pub in Park Street. He'd gone there after work with friends on Friday the 29th of August. Around closing time, he was moving from the bar to a private do in Harvey's function rooms at the back. For some reason, a dispute arose in the courtyard outside. It's thought with this man, Spencer O'Shaughnessy. After the stabbing, O'Shaughnessy tried to get into the private party, but then disappeared. He has family connections in Ireland, or he could be in Manchester. He's 22, 6 foot tall with green eyes and an 8-inch scar running from his sideburn down the left side of his face. There's also been another serious incident we want to talk to him about. 0500 600 600, and it's important to find him, so do please ring us. That's 0500 600 600, and other detectives are standing by on 01582 394 299. That's Luton 394 299.
As you've no doubt seen in the news, inquiries are continuing about the attack on Josie Russell and the murder of her sister and mother last year in Kent. As a result of the Crimewatch reconstruction, the case has now taken new turns, according to the police. They've asked us to reinforce strongly a new appeal that they're making. Do you own one of these? And if so, is it petrol-driven? Is it this colour, orange? This is a Flymo, but it's a specific type, and if you own an orange petrol-driven Flymo, please do take note of the details. It's a Flymo RL 400, sometimes called a lawn chief. Now, if you've got one, think back. You might be sitting on a crucial piece of evidence. And incidentally, you might also check the grass bag. Was it missing or was it new? Now, detectives aren't interested in whether or not you've had suspicions when you bought the mower. They simply need to trace every one of these that was acquired second-hand from the start of July last year. Now, if that includes yours, but please check that yours is second-hand, it's orange, petrol-driven, RL 400 or lawn chief. Please call us here in the studio on 0500 600 600. Some detectives from the inquiry are here, others are at the murder inquiry room on 01622 654 321. That's an easy number to remember, Maidstone 654 321.
If you saw the programme last month, you'll recall the appeal about 12-year-old Thomas Marshall. He'd gone cycling from his home in Haysborough in Norfolk to nearby Eccles-on-Sea. The next day, his bike was found in the opposite direction at Broomstead Common, and his body was found in a lay-by near Thetford on the A11 at Rowdham Heath. Now, there were only 80 calls to Crimewatch that night, but there is some new information, and Les Parrott, who's leading the inquiry, has asked us to try again. First, a dark car, possibly a Saab 900, was seen by 5 independent witnesses in Haysborough and nearby Stalham on Thursday evening. That's Thursday, the 21st of August. All the sightings were within 2.5 miles of Bromstead Common, where Thomas's bike was found. Now, unusually, the car had a bike lying on the roof without a roof rack. That car has to be eliminated. Was it yours? There's another vehicle police need to eliminate as well, and that's a light blue truck, possibly a Ford Transit. It was also seen in Haysborough on Thursday the 21st, around 6:30 in the evening. There was a boy sitting with 2 other people. Could that have been you? Police have asked us to stress they are solely interested in eliminations and in information about Thomas, nothing else. Do call us, please, 0500 600 600. That's 0500 600 600. The incident room direct is on 01603 768 769. That's Norwich, the code 01603 768 769.
Now the search for 2 incompetent but desperate robbers. As you'll see, there was mounting violence, and unless these 2 are caught, someone seems likely to get seriously hurt. The events began in Acox Green in Birmingham with a private car sale on Friday, the 1st day of August.
The lads turned up in a burgundy Orion, the Jamaican flag in the back window. He told me his name was Mark. One of his teeth at the top was gold.
Nice one. Cheers.
The 3 men and a woman who'd arrived in the burgundy Orion paid £180 in cash for the 1986 Rover 213. It had no valid tax or MOT. Four days later, and about half a mile from where the car was bought.
It was a very sunny day. It caught my eye because the boys crossing the road, well, they were wearing anoraks, which was a strange thing to wear on a day like that. The one that was wearing the anorak, when he took the anorak off, he was wearing a light orange sweatshirt.
Their behaviour was so odd, a passing cyclist actually stopped to see what they were up to.
They ran very fast towards the car, and they sped off very quickly, and I turned round, making a note of the number.
Where had the car been kept for the last 4 days? And did it change hands in the next 9 days before it turned up here in Selsey Road in Edgbaston?
As I was posting a letter, I saw one of the men just inside the door of the post office, which was open.
Get out!
Just on the post office, you know.
In fact, they fled empty-handed. 40 minutes drive away in Grafton Road, West Bromwich.
We had this shop for 16 years. I feel that we are providing the service and the community appreciate the service we're providing.
Outside the shop, a resident noticed 2 men with baggy coats. Curious for such a hot August afternoon.
I was on my own in the shop at the time. One of the guy was with the gun in his hand and waving his gun about and saying, "I've got a gun," and get on the floor. I didn't thought about gun or fear. I just went to grab him.
Get down on the floor! I said, get down!
They hit me with the gun over the head, and turban came off at that instant. When somebody's turban come off, then anger takes over. So I was pushing them, going after them without the turban on. On the right side of the law, I pay all my due to the society. Then why should anybody should come in and dictate me, sort of even willing to kill me or hurt me?
Please? Thank you. They just tried to rob me.
Wait there.
the Rover sped off up Grafton Road and back towards the centre of Birmingham. This new jewellery shop and workshop is in Augusta Street in Hockley. It's now 5:20 in the afternoon.
The shop was open for only about a month, you know. I used to work till 9, 10 o'clock.
What are you doing?
I'm just checking the links.
Oh.
Look, there's a customer.
He just came out to me and pointed the gun to me.
Don't move. Get off. Get off the gun. Leave me alone.
I tried to hold his gun, but, you know, he snatched from me and pointed to my brother-in-law.
Come on, in the back. Hurry up, we ain't got much time. On the floor. I said on the floor, now. Hurry up.
I can't do anything because of the gun. My son was really frightened as well.
Don't move. Hurry up, we ain't got much time.
No, don't take everything.
I said don't move.
Don't.
Excuse me.
3 hours later, in Villa Street in Lascelles, about a mile from where the robbery had taken place.
Excuse me. This is your car. Can you move it?
My brother's car, mate. Not tonight, eh?
Chris Pretty, we don't know that the people involved in buying the car had anything to do with what happened subsequently. They might have passed the car on, sold them on. You need to find those 4 people.
Yes, we do. We need to find them urgently.
Now, tell us what you know about them.
There are 4 black people, one of whom was a female. One said his name was Mark, and he had a gold tooth at the front. And the lady stayed in the vehicle all the time. The other 2 may have connections in the Dudley area.
OK, remember they had this maroon Orion that they arrived in. Obviously,
Yes.
they recognise themselves, and other people might recognise them as well.
I would hope so, yes.
Now, the red Rover that they bought, that then reappeared. That was the 1st of August since the car was bought.
Yes.
It reappeared 4 days later in the street robberies.
Yes.
It then reappeared again a week later in Dudley. Tell us about that.
Yes, on the 12th of August, that red Rover was given a parking ticket in West Street, Dudley.
OK, now you need to know where this car was kept. C376JGO. They kept the original plates on it. Then, the day of the raids themselves, that's when the violence really got quite serious, on the 14th.
Yes.
Now, we've got some CCTV of what happened in the post office. Now, this isn't the raid itself. This is when people came in, they started coming in just to sort of suss out the place. Tell us what happened then.
Yes, we have an Asian male and a man of mixed race who go into the post office and they asked for a stamp originally, and they hadn't got the money to pay for it. They then left and re-entered, and the man of mixed race produced a handgun and threatened the staff there.
OK, now, in the jewellery raid, they took jewellery like this. This is very similar stuff. Now, this is quite important, quite distinctive. It's Indian jewellery, but it's all hallmark. Tell us about that.
Yes, it is. It's Indian jewellery. It's 22 carat gold, and the unique hallmark is J22.
OK, there's the hallmark. If you've got any of that stuff, let us know, please. The violence, which we only hinted at, was actually quite considerable and grew steadily during the day.
Yes, I'm extremely concerned at the way this violence escalated. They threatened to shoot the 3 Asians, and what is more, they threatened the life of one of them's 8-year-old son. These people need to be caught.
Please don't hesitate. If you've got any idea who they are, 0500 600 600. It's a free call number here live to Inspector Pretty or any of his colleagues, and you can call the incident room too. That's on 0121 428 6180. That's Birmingham 428 6180. And now with 2 faces that might look familiar, here's Detective Constable Jackie Hames.
In July 1995, a warrant was issued for the arrest of this man, Alexander George Fraser. Almost a year earlier, an elderly couple were robbed and attacked in their home in Aberdeen. Not surprisingly, they were terribly affected, and Grampian police are still active on the case. Alexander George Fraser is alleged to be one of those involved. He's 32, 5'10", and as you can see, has a scar on the middle of his face. His arms are tattooed with a picture of a devil, a heart, a panther's head, and the letters WAF with the word hate. He may be calling himself McFarlane or using other names. If you've seen him, do please call us now, 0500 600 600, or Grampian Police Headquarters on 01224 649 977. That's Aberdeen, 649 977. And this man is wanted for some fairly nasty crimes as well. He faces charges for 3 aggravated burglaries and an indecent assault against an elderly lady. He's Terence McDonough, originally from Ireland, but he's been a traveller around England for many years. He was last seen on the M69 Link Road on the outskirts of Leicester in early June, when by feigning suicide, he managed to escape from a prison van taking him to court. If you've seen him, please let us know, 0500 600 600 or 01203 539 130. That's Coventry, 539 130.
Well, thank you for all your calls so far tonight on the awful rape of a 16-year-old girl in Primrose Valley in near Leeds. We've already had over 50 calls, one call distressingly coming from a woman who believes that she was also raped by the same man. 3 calls on the Birkenhead assault, possible sightings of Spencer O'Shaughnessy, and 5 or 6 calls on the Russell murder reappeal as well. Now, we've a picture of a man you might know and regard as perfectly respectable, but detectives from the paedophile unit at New Scotland Yard are very anxious to find him. They have some photos of him taken 5 years ago, which raise concerns for the welfare of a child. Now, this man would now be in his 50s. He was of medium build at the time the photo was taken, and he may have used the name Garbett. Now, he may also have had some connection with the Southampton area or Northolt in Middlesex. As always, 0500 600 600 or 0171 230 6050. That's the Met's organised crime group, 0171 230 6050. And now again, here's Chief Superintendent David Hatcher, this time with some con merchants.
Yes, and this one may be a thief as well. Shortly after a wallet was stolen from an office in Huntingdon, someone tried to use the credit cards in a travel agency in Cambridge. In fact, he tried to use the card in several other shops and garages as well. This man may know something about it. He's in his early 30s, slim, medium height with light brown hair. Detectives here in the studio are on 0500 600 600 and other officers are waiting now on 01480 415 539. That's Huntingdon, 415 539. Next to a man to watch out for if you work in a bank. In fact, a man to watch out for if you've got savings with a bank, because he seems to con you out of them. Here he is in northwest London. He's told staff he has an account with their branch in Manchester and he's arranged to pick up some cash. He has a matching name and account number and a plausible signature. Here he is trying it on again, this time with a different name and account number, saying he's arranged a money transfer from Devizes. The cashier isn't happy with his signature, and when she goes to check it, he makes off. Who is he? 0500 600 600 is the free call number here, or 0181 733 6636. That's 0181 733 6636.
5 months ago, there was a crime of quite appalling cruelty in East London. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a 20-year-old woman was walking down Great Eastern Street in Shoreditch when a maroon Honda Prelude cruised beside her, and then a passenger leapt out, forced her into the car and abducted her. She was eventually bundled into the boot, driven away for about an hour or so, was drugged, and over 12 hours was repeatedly raped. At 3 in the morning, she was taken back again in the boot, and dumped outside the Jeffrey Museum on Kingsland Road in Shoreditch. Further up Kingsland Road, a Good Samaritan eventually picked her up at a BP garage and drove her to a police station. And since then, Rick Murphy has been leading the investigation. Tell us what you know about the 2 rapists.
The driver of the vehicle was a black male, aged about 40 years. He was 5'10" tall, and he had a short, flat-top hairstyle.
Flat-topped?
That's right, yes. He also had a beard. The passenger in the vehicle was also a black male. He was aged about 30 years.
So there's quite an age difference. 40 the first one, 30 the second.
That's right. He had round-rimmed glasses, and he had a very distinctive white birthmark, which is on the left side of his neck, which the victim described as looking like the map of England.
So a sort of triangular white birthmark on his skin there.
That's correct.
The car I described as maroon, a Honda Prelude. Do you know any more about that?
Yeah, the victim is adamant that it's a two-door Honda Prelude, maroon in colour, and she states that it possibly has an S and E in the registration. Now, most importantly, it has a Jamaican flag in the rear window of the vehicle.
Something like this. Someone's giving Jamaican flags a bad name in this, but this is different from an earlier...
That's right, it's totally different.
Earlier in the program. It's quite common, we ought to say, in the back of cars. The Good Samaritan, who picked her up at the BP garage in Kingston Road at 3 o'clock in the morning. Tell us about him. Obviously, he's nothing to do with the crime itself, so why do you need to talk to him?
No, that's right. It's important we need to speak to him because he's the first person to speak to the victim about the ordeal. She broke down to him, and information that he has may be important to the investigation.
He may know something you don't. She's forgotten to relay to you.
That's right.
I've never come across anything like this in 13... Well, actually, one, perhaps, in 13, 14 years of crime. Have you ever come across a crime of this horror?
No, this is one of the worst cases I ever had to investigate.
Abduction in broad daylight, being kept for 12 hours. No one could protect these men, no one at all. If you've any idea who they are, or if you recognise that car, can piece the bits of the jigsaw together, please call us 0500 600 600. It's a free call, costs you nothing, 0500 600 600, or you can call the incident room on 0171 275 3633. That's 0171 275 3633. And now here's Detective Constable Jackie Hames again, looking for an accountant.
Yes, but I wouldn't hire this one if I were you. At any rate, not until a problem's been cleared up, where he used to work in Cambridge. Stephen Anthony Moore left his job suddenly in March. He'd been employed by the post office and had keys to the safe. A large amount of cash vanished at the same time that he did. Perhaps it's just coincidence, but money's gone missing before when Mr. Moore left a job. On that occasion, £10,000 disappeared when he was an accountant for Adams Glass in Southend. This is a picture of him working in a pub, which he did once a week and might be doing somewhere tonight. If you know where he is, 0500 600 600 or 01223 358 966. That's Cambridge, 358 966. Now to a man who's wanted in connection with a substantial series of burglaries. In total, about £250,000 worth of equipment was stolen from office buildings. This is the man who may be able to help with this inquiry. He's Anthony James McAvoy, 29, with thinning ginger hair. Here he is caught on camera returning a hire car. If you know where he is, 0500 600 600, or instead you can call Surrey Police in Woking. They're on 01483 761 991. That's 01483 761 991.
Our next film is about George Dean. George, who was nearly 75, lived all his life with one of his two brothers, Raymond. And because of Raymond's frailty, he cared for him really like a father. Raymond almost never ventured out, and even George rarely left their home in Kilburn, North London, except for visits to the shops and to the laundrette. A month ago, on one such trip, George was murdered. Raymond can only speak with difficulty, and so his older brother Eric joined him to help relate the story. Our reconstruction starts on the day of the killing, Thursday, July the 31st.
Where did I see that film? Oh, George?
Yes?
Is this the one you wanted, huh?
Yes, that's it. 8:30.
8:30, that's right. It's a Western. I like a good Western. Very good.
Ah, this is the book I've been looking for. Have you been messing them about?
Oh, me? No, I'd never touch you.
They did definitely lead a quiet life, the pair of them together. They had their own ways, and that was it.
In fact, the two brothers had a very familiar routine.
Have you any laundry for me?
At about 3 o'clock every Thursday afternoon, George would take their washing to the laundrette and always put it through 2 cycles.
That's all.
When we passed by the laundrette, I just looked in, like you always do when you pass by a window.
What kind of ice cream would you like?
2 men were standing in there, talking, normally.
There you go, that's yours.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Come on, darling.
I started cooking dinner about 3 o'clock, 3:15.
Can you go?
When I passed through the door, the 2 men were standing talking. The younger man was leaning quite relaxed against the washing machine. and didn't really take any notice because I thought they were friends, so know each other.
Hello? Hello, Mom? Hi, it's me. How are you? Yeah?
Nice, calm voices, like father and son having a talk, a nephew. Like, yeah, a close friend.
Get off!
The two men on the floor, the younger one on top and the older one on the floor.
Mum, I'm going to have to go. I think there's a fight.
Get off!
You get trapped somewhere where you can't run, and you don't want a child to get hurt. When I'm rushing out, I bash my son's head on the washing machine. The younger man turns around and looks straight at me.
He was 25 to 35 years old, between 5 feet 10 and 6 feet tall. He had dark brown hair tied back in a ponytail.
Quick. There's a fight in the laundrette.
So I thought I could go and stop a fight. So I walked to the laundrette to find out what was happening. And as I got to the window of the laundrette, a guy came out the laundrette, knife in hand. As I dropped my hands, he ran.
He just come out of nowhere. He was that close, I could have just put my foot out and he would have went over. But at the time, I didn't know that he'd done anything.
Saw a guy lying on the floor, ran back into the shop to find the police.
Right, there's been a fight in the laundrette, two guys. The laundrette's on the corner of Donaldson Road and Lonsdale Road.
It was late coming back, and it was getting later, and you start getting worried, waiting for the door to open.
I felt anger and sadness to know that that's where we come to die, you know. And the guy that done it just ran right past me and, you know, he's a murderer.
I've seen a tall guy in a long ponytail, in a grey T-shirt and tracksuit bottoms, running really fast.
He's just run past me.
Which way?
Over there.
By the time I got round the bends and looked down the road, I didn't see anyone. And at that point, I just turned and kind of took my time and walked back looking because the girl said he had a knife, so I was just looking and just in case he dropped it or anything like that.
Well, no, I can't see. No, hold on, yeah, I can see him here now. All right, okay, bye.
Quebec Kilo receiving 468. Yeah, we've got an elderly male. He's been stabbed.
I can't believe he's gone, you know. It was my saviour.
Well, Chris Watt, you believe there was no motive, no theft involved at all, a brutal killing of a defenceless old man, really. Now, you're appealing for a number of witnesses, I know. Crucially, the lady that was seen in that reconstruction with the small child, you haven't managed to trace her, have you?
No, I haven't at the present time. The route the attacker took was to run down Esmond Road and past this lady, and then into Charteris Road, where he disappears. What I need to do is to trace this woman for her to be able to give me additional information.
As to where he went after that.
That's right. She's described as being about 5'6" tall, fairish blonde hair, wearing a dark long coat, and she had a small child with her, probably 4 or 5 years old, and perhaps a little girl.
Well, hopefully she will know who she is.
Hopefully, and she will
Tonight.
contact the incident room if possible.
Now remind us again what the attacker looked like.
The attacker was a white man, and some witnesses describing as having a Mediterranean appearance. He is between 5'10" and 6 foot tall, and has a distinctive brown hair in a ponytail, swept back behind his head. He also was wearing a grey T-shirt and grey jogging bottoms.
What do you know about the knife that he was carrying?
I have no full description of the knife. Certainly the knife was over 3 inches long.
Now, he would have had blood on him, surely.
It is believed he had blood on the knife and on his hand. He may well have had it on his clothing, and he may well have gone home that night, changed his clothing, changed his appearance. He may even have cut his ponytail off. Somebody may well have seen that and now remembers it.
Do you think he was local?
It was a day that was raining. Thursday the 31st of July had heavy rain that day, and witnesses describe him as being dry. Now, where did he go to in that time between midday and the time of the attack.
So he
I'd
did
like
have
to
a
know.
raincoat. He might have been staying with someone perhaps nearby.
He may have been staying, he may even have been visiting.
Any other witnesses you're appealing to?
Anybody who was in the area on that day and who may have seen this man or who visited the laundrette.
Chris Watt, thank you very much indeed. Can you piece all those elements together? It's a tragic and, as we said, apparently a motiveless crime, the killing of an elderly gentleman who appeared to have no enemies in the world. If you think you can help us, please call us here, 0500 600 600, or the Metropolitan Police on 0181 358 1751. That's 0181 358 1751.
3 weeks ago, Elizabeth Baxter, a 77-year-old, was found murdered in her bedroom in Plaistow in East London. There seems to have been a sexual motive in the attack on her. Police are now very anxious indeed to trace this man, Stephen Hector. He's 42, he is medium height, slim build, bald, but with short hair at the sides. Often he wears a silver stud and a ring in his left ear, and he has an East London accent. Until very recently, he lived in Milton Keynes, but we know he's visited Northampton since then, and he has connections in Teesside. But where is he tonight? Detectives say he could be pretty dangerous, so don't approach him. 0500 600 600, that's 0500 600 600, or call 0181 345 4356. That's the Edmonton Incident Room, 0181 345 4356. Finally tonight to Operation Tornado, a whirlwind of police activity to try to stop a one-man crime spree. Over the last year, a man has been holding up building society cashiers at gunpoint in a wide sweep from North Wales into the West Midlands. On one occasion, he threatened to open fire on people. Here, a witness with an artist is creating an impression of him, and as you can see, he's balding, he's in his 50s, and he's pretty distinctive. Fairly short and fat. He might, though, look fatter than he really is because he seems to wear a lot of outer clothing. He also has a fondness for different hats and glasses, but someone must know who he is. Maybe he bought something from your shop and put it in a plastic bag before one of the robberies. That's where he kept the gun, in that bag. Do tell us who he is, 0500 600 600, or call Staffordshire Police on 01785 232 585. That's Stafford 232 585. Very briefly, let me tell you a little bit about the Primrose Valley rape and the attack there. 90 calls so far. Some actually look quite promising. 2 names have been put forward on the Birkenhead assault. About 10 people so far have rung in, say they've got second-hand lawnmowers just like the ones sought in the Russell case. There's a great deal more. We'll tell you later on.
And that's all for this month. But before we go, just to recap, here's a quick look at some of the faces we've shown tonight. This man, top left, is wanted for assault. Who is he? Next to him, Spencer O'Shaughnessy, wanted for murder. Where is he? Or these two, Alexandra Fraser, bottom left, and Terence McDonough, wanted for robbery and assault. Please help find them tonight. Our lines are open here until midnight, and you'll see other numbers in a moment. They're also listed, by the way, on CFAX on page 621. And if you're on the internet, you can email us at crimewatchuk at the BBC. That's cwuk@bbc.co.uk. And if you've any information on a crime we haven't covered, try Crime Stoppers, 0800 555 111.
We're back with Crimewatch Update at 11:40, 20 to 12, and we hope to have more, as I say, to tell you then. And we'll be back with a full set of new appeals next month, Tuesday, November the 11th. Meanwhile, in case you haven't seen them, here are official figures issued by the police, and they show convincingly crime peaked about 5 years ago and really is now progressively starting to decline. So don't have nightmares. Sleep well. Good night.
Good night.
Welcome back. Names, names and more names. Now, one of the most serious cases we covered tonight, police are on their way to make an arrest. Indeed, as I speak, the suspect may already be in custody. And on another one of the most serious cases too, information is very, very exciting indeed. On the abduction and rape in East London, an intriguing piece of information which may be the key. On all the other cases, as I say, lots and lots of names.
Well, first, the upsetting attack on 2 children in Leeds. A 16-year-old girl had taken her younger brother to look for frogs in a pond in Primrose Valley, Whitkirk. But several people saw a man who was loitering nearby.
He's been past before. Oh yeah, he has, hasn't he?
Well, Philip Revel-Johnson, the case has generated a lot of calls, hasn't it?
Yes, there have been over 100 calls down here in the studio and over 60 calls to the incident room in Leeds, which we're very pleased about.
Any significant ones that you're interested in?
We're still filtering through them. Most of them are suggesting names which will fit the identity we put out.
Now, remind us again in detail what the attacker looked like.
He was in his late 30s, early 40s, about 5'9" tall. He was described as having muscular arms. He had mousy-coloured hair, which was short and untidy, and stubble round his chin. He was generally of untidy appearance. He was wearing stone-washed blue jeans with a button front and a blue T-shirt.
Now, what is particularly distressing, as well as obviously the rape, was that he passed on a sexually transmitted disease to the poor 16-year-old girl, chlamydia, which other people may have as a result from him.
Yes, there's no doubt at all. I mean, the symptoms in girls are far more serious than they are in men. And we feel a good chance that a partner or an ex-partner may have contracted this infection from him. And we would urge those people to please ring in. Everybody connected to the case is quite certain he will strike again if he's not caught. And of course he may well go on infecting other people as well.
Now, he had a knife with him which he held at the girl's throat all the way through the attack. Remind us again what that was like.
Yes, this is a similar knife. It's described as a blue Stanley knife. He held the sharpened point to her throat and he was menacing that knife to the girl all through the attack. She was obviously terrified.
And taking a long time to get over that ordeal.
A long time. While she's got over the infection, the trauma of that attack will stay with her for a long, long time to come.
Philip Revel-Johnson, thank you.
Thank you.
Now to another most traumatic case. 15 months ago, Josie Russell was attacked along with her mother and sister as they walked home through rural Kent. Josie was the only survivor. Now, after our last Crimewatch reconstruction of the case in August, a series of inquiries got underway. A man was subsequently arrested, and now another series of inquiries is going on. One of those that the police have asked us to reappeal about tonight is about these. This is a Flymo RL400 petrol-driven lawnmower, sometimes called a lawn chief. If you bought one of these second-hand since last July, the police are desperate to talk to you, particularly if you live in the southeast of England, but frankly anywhere at all. We've had about 40, I think nearly 50 calls so far. I haven't got the final tally, but only about half a dozen have come from the southeast of England. If since last July you bought second-hand one of these, a lawn chief, a Flymo RL400, petrol-driven, orange, particularly if it had a new or missing grass bag at the back, please call us now, 0500 600 600. That's live here to the studio, free call 0500 600 600.
Well, first that Birkenhead assault on a middle-aged man at the beginning of September. We've had 9 calls on that particular case. 4 names have been given, and one of those names is already talking to the police now. In Huntingdon, that deception, 15 calls with 5 names. Several calls have come from police officers, and some of those calls all relate to the same area, so that's looking very promising indeed. Finchley deception, 10 calls there. Again, 4 names have been given. And then that Hampshire indecency, where we're seeking a man in connection with photographs. 26 calls, a very promising result. The officers here are extremely keen on that result, and they still want more. So if you think you recognise him, please do still call in. Then finally, Operation Tornado, that's the man sought in connection with armed robberies in the Midlands and the North West. Well, we've had 4 calls there and 2 names, so please keep calling if you can help.
We've had so far 64 calls on the clutch of crimes around Birmingham that escalated in early August from a handbag snatch to a one-day spree of armed robberies. Now, those 2 men were running to a Red Rover, which was the key to this inquiry. That had been bought on the 1st of August in the Birmingham area by 4 people arriving in an Orion. They were obviously anxious to find those 2, another 2 who committed much more serious crimes later, and the people who bought the car. Now, what have you got?
Yes, we need some more specific names. We've had a lot of calls giving descriptions of people with gold teeth.
Because one of the guys who bought the car
yes,
had a
his
gold
name
front
is
tooth.
Mark, had a gold front tooth. What I need is something a bit more specific so we can nail this violent people.
I must say, about 10 minutes ago, you were really, in truth, a bit disappointed. A lot of people trying to
Yes.
help, but you hadn't got much. You've now got some names have come into the
There are a
system.
couple of names that have been put forward that are now being researched by our intelligence cell.
Are these people who committed the crimes or people who bought the car?
These are the people who committed the crimes.
OK. Now, you still need the people who turned up in that Burgundy Orion and bought the Rover on the 1st of August. Second-hand Rover, paid about 180 quid for it.
And we need any sightings of the vehicle between the 1st and the 14th of August.
OK, that's C376JGO,
That's
the Red
correct.
Rover. OK. This jewellery was stolen in a rather violent raid where a gun was produced. It's Indian, 22 carat. Tell us about this. It's got a special hallmark to it.
Yes, it has. The hallmark is J22. Please give us a ring if you've seen any of that jewellery or bought it under suspicious circumstances. J22 is the hallmark.
OK, and I think some people have rung about that. Just remind us again about the violence that was used in that raid.
The two people threatened to kill the 3 Asian males in the shop, and what is even worse, they threatened to kill the 8-year-old lad who was in there with
The
them.
man was hit over the head quite badly. If you know anything about this, please do give us a call. Jill.
We made another appeal tonight on the murder of Thomas Marshall, the 12-year-old boy who was killed in Norfolk. He went out cycling from his home in Haysborough on August the 21st. He was supposedly going to a friend in Eccles-on-Sea. He didn't arrive. His bike was found in Broomstead Common. His body was found the following day, August the 22nd, in a lay-by just near the just off the A11 near Thetford. Now, we made a special appeal tonight for 2 vehicles. We wanted to know more about a dark-coloured car, possibly a Saab 900. Now, that was seen in the area of Bromstead Common with a bike on the roof, but no roof rack. Now, we've had a couple of interesting calls there. One particular person rang in to say that they had also seen this car. Regarding the other vehicle, well, that was a light-coloured, light blue truck or a van, possibly a Ford Transit. Again, one very significant call on that. Just to remind you, that was seen around 6:30 on the evening that Thomas went missing, and it was seen with 2 people and a boy sitting inside. So do please keep those calls coming in.
Well, we had names for this next group of faces, but we just needed to know where they were. Firstly, Spencer O'Shaughnessy. We'd like to speak to him regarding a stabbing 6 weeks ago in Luton, Bedfordshire. 25 people have called in, and including several recent sightings in Manchester, so that fits in with what the officers knew. And next, Alexander George Fraser. Officers in Aberdeen want to speak to him regarding an attack on an elderly couple back in '94. 15 calls, one particularly promising, and it's in fact being followed up right now, so maybe good news on this one next month. Next, I ask you to find Terence McDonough. He escaped from a prison van in June. We've had 5 callers, one good lead, but still call if you think you can help with this case. Next, we had Anthony James McAvoy. Want to speak to him regarding a third of £1 million worth of burglaries. We've only had 2 calls, although one looks reasonably promising. Still call if you know where he is. And finally, Stephen Anthony Moore. We want to speak to him regarding some missing cash from a post office in Cambridge. 2 calls, but again, ring us if you know where he or any of the others are.
If only we had pictures of suspects in our next case, but I'm not surprised you've had a dramatic response on this case. One of those rare crimes that repels absolutely everyone and gets calls from the underworld as much as anybody else, and that's what's happened tonight. 5 months ago, in the middle of the afternoon, a young woman was abducted in broad daylight in a street in Shoreditch in East London. 2 men came past a car, grabbed her, bundled her into the boot, and held her for 12 hours. She was drugged, she was raped, and then at 3 o'clock in the morning was driven back and dumped in East London. Rick Murphy, you've really had some fantastic calls on this case.
Yeah, we've had some excellent information coming, both about the men and with regards to the vehicle as well.
Now, some of it I know that you're making inquiries on.
Yeah, there's one particular
through
piece.
The night.
Yeah, there's one particular piece of information that we are working hard on at this moment. That's right.
Now, obviously, let's not go into any of that for obvious reasons. Let's, for people who didn't see the earlier appeal, remind them of what you're looking for. 2 men you need to link with a car. Let's describe the men first.
Right, the driver of the vehicle is a black male aged around 40 years. He had a short black flat top style haircut, and he also had a beard. He was about 5'10" tall. The passenger of the vehicle, he was 5'8" tall, and he wore dark brown rimmed glasses.
He was younger, wasn't he?
He was around 30 years of age, and he also had a very distinctive white birthmark on the left-hand side of his neck.
Right, that was the sort of the shape of England that was described, a white birthmark,
That's right.
Birthmark, sort of down there. And you want to match those 2 with this maroon car.
Yeah, it's a maroon Honda Prelude, 2-door, which has the Jamaican flag in the rear window. That really ties them to the car.
That's one of these. They're fairly common, but that was in the back window.
That's right.
And you want to link those three things together, probably in the East London area, home counties. I mean,
yeah, we believe it may be in the East London area where these people come from, but obviously, you know, we don't know that for certain. So it's calls from everywhere.
Very, very promising. But if you know anything, please keep calling.
Well, next, the murder of 75-year-old George Dean. George lived with his brother Raymond and rarely left his home except for trips to the shops and the laundrette. On one such trip, he was stabbed. Well, Chris Watt, this happened in Kilburn in northwest London. One important link in your inquiry was watching tonight.
Indeed, the lady with a young child has phoned into the incident room and identified herself, and my officers will be seeing her later.
So you'll be following up the links with her because, of course, you think that she may have seen the route that the attacker took when he left the laundrette. Remind us where the laundrette was.
The laundrette is in Donaldson Road, northwest 6. That's in Kilburn.
So really, you want anyone who was around that laundrette on the day of the attack to call in if they saw anything suspicious.
That's right, and indeed for people to remember that on the 31st of July, the day this happened, it was a day with heavy rain and showers. And my suspect, again, had dry clothing when he left the laundrette, so where had he been? He certainly hadn't been in the laundrette all the day.
What sort of calls have you had, apart from this lady witness?
We had a number of calls naming individuals that looked like the photo fit.
Now, what did he look like?
Again, he was an IC1 male, a white man, with a possible Mediterranean appearance. He was 5'10" to 6 foot tall and 25 to 35 years old, with dark brown hair tied back in a ponytail. He was wearing a grey T-shirt and grey jogging bottoms.
And since the attack, he may have cut his ponytail off.
Indeed, he may have changed his appearance totally.
Well, let's hope we catch him. Chris Watt, thank you very much.
Well, that's all for this month. Our lines are closing about now, 4 or 5 minutes here in the studio, but you'll see other numbers on your screen in a moment, and you'll find them listed if you look on CFAX on page 621. And if you're online, you can email us at crimewatchuk at the BBC, more specifically cwuk@bbc.co.uk. If you've any information on a crime we haven't covered, we'll try Crime Stoppers. There are an answer phone there all night, 0800 555 111. And we'll be back with Crime Watch a month from now on Tuesday, November the 11th. In the meantime, as we said at the end of the main programme, reflect on the figures issued in a leaflet this month by the police, describing for the first time emphatically how, in a generation for the first time, crime really is starting to fall. So don't have nightmares. Sleep well. Good night.
Good night.